Ask Ashley episode 2. Ask Ashley the Baked Bunny. And this go around, we did the beginner stuff on episode 1. This go around, we're gonna do edibles. We're gonna talk about edibles and get into edibles a little bit more. And
even though we got pipes in front of us.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel that. I feel that it's one of those days. Yep.
We
okay. One of those days.
Pipe day.
we got
well, there's a good question. Well, what distinguishes pipe day to edible day?
Ooh. That's always a personal preference. Me personally, pipe days every day.
Oh, okay.
But edibles, some edibles, people, it helps them to fall asleep. And edibles, for me personally, help me clean my house.
Sure.
So
Okay.
it depends on like what you're using. Some people say I put sativa, I put hybrid, or I put indica into the edible. Again, it's everybody's certain like body type that attaches or absorbs that specific cannabinoid. But if you're baking the item or like baking the goods, like say a cookie or a Rice Krispie, the butter itself, when it gets hot, when you put the THC inside, the more heat that you expose the THC to, they say tends to give you a little bit more of the indica feeling or more of the sleepier feeling.
Okay.
And when it comes to edibles, I always tell people this, it never really hits my head. It's really all in my body. Like, I mean, I can feel the effect. Like my girlfriend always tells me it's like right here. She's like, oh,
mine is right. Mine is right here.
Yeah. But for me, it's like, I can feel like my whole body relaxes, yet I'm still very like high functioning in the head. So I'm not like, wait, what's happening? I can actually work.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the person.
The way you said it, I didn't know if it meant like it's been a rough day, so it's a pipe day. That's what I was thinking.
No, I honestly just grabbed the first thing I could find. So
got it. Okay, fair enough.
I also don't have any edibles made at the moment, so I would have partaked with those, but
yeah,
I haven't gotten in the kitchen yet. So
that's all right. That's all right. So let's go back to the beginning of edibles. I mean, I think the first we all heard of edibles, like the pot brownies back in the 60s and 70s, and it's obviously evolved immensely since then. It feels like the gummies started to kick in in like the 2010, or were gummies around before that?
I don't remember specifically seeing the actual gummy on the spectrum before. Yeah, I want to say before 2010. I remember cookies. Like I had a few weed cookies and that were pretty great. So, I mean, the cookies were there, but the gummies, no, not so much. Gummies were around, at least as far as I can remember. The first time I ever saw a gummy edible was in the first dispensary I worked in. And it wasn't even like the gummy bear form, like it was actually just like a square little, it literally looked like a miniature small piece of Jello. So, yeah.
Sweet. There must be something that what am I trying to say? Why was gummies picked as like one of the first things?
I want to say it's probably because it's the most appealing, and you can make it in like small or larger pieces. Some people wanted to get the high quicker, so obviously you wanted something smaller. Also, it tasted good. When you have cookies, you have like that weed flavoring that people are just like, nah, I'm not into. Personally, that's the only way I know that they're strong. So if I can taste that. But in that case, it just was, I would say probably aesthetically, it was more accepting.
Sure. So back in the day when they were making pot brownies, they were just throwing the plant or the flour into the batter, correct? And just baking it like that?
Yes. I mean, at least as far as I can remember, yeah.
Yeah. And does that give you the same high as you would get if you smoked it, or the same high, I guess, as an edible that you would eat now?
Well, I mean, personally, when I use I only put it in a butter, so I don't have never actually physically put the flour or the actual leaf in the batter. But the ones I have tried, they've been definitely more weed flavoring. Probably not as strong. I don't know, for some reason, the way that I make the butter with the emulsifier, it changes the potency for me personally.
Sure.
Again, all of this is based off of my own personal like experience. That would say that for me, once it's hit the butter, it tends to be a little bit more potent. So you get like that wheat experience with the what am I trying to say? The leaves. You're just not as like, it doesn't hit you as hard, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Back in the day with the brownies, did you have to put a lot more in because they baked off some potency in leaf?
I mean, yes, I would say they're definitely put in. Well, so in a normal batch for me to make a cup of butter or 2 cups of butter, I use anywhere between 2 to 3 ounces of actual flour.
Okay.
If you're doing it I'm sure you've YouTubed how to make the butter. So most people do it in different ways: stovetop, crock pot, machines. So it depends. But in that case, yeah, it's anywhere for me personally for the potency that I like, 2 to 3 ounces. And that I don't have 2 to 3 ounces growing in my backyard. So I always go with something stronger. So that's when you switch over to the concentrate, when people have concentrated it, the shatters, the rosins, all of those things, they make an already potent amount and you don't need as much.
Sure.
So like I say, like 3 grams of rosin or shatter compared to 3 ounces.
Okay. Wow.
So it's more like, for me, I've evolved that way. But when it came to the flour, yeah, you would use a lot, a good amount. Yeah.
So for all your baked products, you're putting the wheat into the butter and using the butter is that for everything that you make, basically?
Everything the recipe calls for butter.
Okay.
So I pick like a butter-based item. So like say Rice Krispie treats or Pop-Tarts, cookies, obviously chocolate chip cookies, brownies.
Yeah.
So, anything butter-based, but I have used it in other things. I've actually infused honey that I've turned into a drink.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it really depends like what I'm making, but most of my stuff I try to keep butter-based because it's the easiest for me personally to infuse. But people infuse sugar, they infuse milk. I've seen people infuse peanut butter. So, it really just depends on what you're craving and how well your skills are with like infusions.
Yeah, you got to be a bit of a scientist to.
And you could infuse like everything you're going to bake with.
I think that's our end goal. If I have a full pantry of weed infused items, I'd be stoked. So
here's what I want. I just want some weed butter to put on top of my steak when I have steak. Just let that melt down onto my steak and.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good form. You could like microdose that to an easy 10 and you'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So speaking of dosage, when you're an at-home maker of edibles, how hard is it to get consistent dosage between, if you're making cookies, how hard is it to make every cookie has the same amount?
Mm-hmm. So my biggest the one thing that I always would tell my patients when they want to make their own edibles is, in order for that consistency to be there, to be present, is use an emulsifier.
Okay.
An emulsifier is what blends the fat to THC attaches itself to fat. Okay. So in that case, when it gets cold, it does have a tendency to separate. So in order to keep all that together, the emulsifier is there to solidify that process. Okay. So in that case, you can take a tablespoon of butter and those, in a half a cup or 1 stick of butter, there's 8 tablespoons. So each tablespoon has 10 milligrams, 20 milligrams, whatever so the emulsifier is the biggest, for me, is the key ingredient. You don't need it in some infusions. But for me, I've noticed with butter, that is the absolute best thing I could suggest is an emulsifier. Soy lecithin. I've only used soy lecithin. So it's kind of like one of those, just like a key ingredient that I have on my shelf. Because if you don't have it, for me, it can be a very roller coaster, if that makes sense.
It does, but I need to know what you were, what's the ingredient? Soy lecithin? Yeah. What is that?
It's a I mean, how do you describe it? It's an emulsifier. It literally is like mine is like a liquid form, but you can buy it in powder form. But I've never really understood the ingredient of what soy lecithin is. So scientifically, I want to say obviously it comes from a plant, but
it's Soylent Green is what I was thinking.
Maybe
it's Soylent Green.
Yeah, I don't know, but I would definitely suggest purchasing that if you're going to make your own.
Okay. Yeah, I've never even heard of it. I'll have to ask my girlfriend if she's heard of that, because she's more in tune with that kind of stuff than I am.
She's smarter than you.
She is smarter than I am. Yes, 1,000%. 1,000%.
So when you're baking, and I'm just in my head thinking of normal bakers, when you're sticking your finger in the dough and you're licking it and you're licking the utensils, that's a lot. You don't even need to be trying it after you're baked, because you
definitely get baked while baking. That's like my thing, baked while baking. Personally, yeah.
So
it definitely happened. Chocolate, I did spoon all the time, and I'm just like, at the end, as soon as I'm done with it, I'm like, because you used to lick the mixers when you made brownies and the spoons. That has not changed for me. It's just, it gets me a little higher, and that also helps me to test. It's like a quality control.
Yeah. Well,
that makes sense. Right? So yeah.
Have you ever have you ever accidentally left a tray full of Pop-Tarts in the oven because you
fell asleep?
No, but did. I actually have a story of my first ever like high experience baking.
Okay.
I was like 13 and I got high, and then I wanted to make brownies. Just the regular box brownies. They had the instructions on the back of the box. And I switched the measurements for water to vegetable oil.
Oh.
And they came out horrible. But of course, I'm high. I had to at least try a few bites.
Yeah, I'll truck through it. I can handle this.
I just got to make sure it's that bad. Wait, I'll make sure.
Yeah, exactly.
They
weren't even weed brownies. They were just regular brownies. But I was already like gone. So it was, that was a fun experience.
So have you had any blowouts when you were trying? I mean, have you had any batches go terribly, or
yes. Again, because it is like a science experiment, it can be kind of intimidating. So I tried a cookie. I made oatmeal cookies once, and so I also took a small, what they call tolerance break. So when you take a tolerance break, you don't smoke, you don't eat, you don't do any of it. You just let it clean out your system. And then I went back and I made these cookies, and they were 25 milligrams a cookie.
Ooh.
Okay.
I was like, I can handle this. I'm going to eat the whole thing. Bad idea. Bad idea. I was literally like stiff as a board on my couch. Nope, I'm not moving. I can't do this.
You know what I've heard helps? Just grab a pixie stick.
Hey,
we're learning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Digging.
I did. The other night I got myself a little too high, and I went searching for sugar. I went, it's gonna help. So, and it helped.
Oh, thank God.
Like you level yourself back out, and you're like, oh, okay, now I'm at that pleasurable spot instead of being like, ah.
There it is. Everybody's like, no, that's gonna cut your high. It's gonna ruin it. And I'm like, no.
Nope.
No.
No, it doesn't end it.
No. But at least it made it a little better.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I'm glad.
How did your edible? I mean, you were a baker before, and then you just naturally got into doing edibles, or?
Oh yeah, my mom and I used to bake together. I mean, I loved baking before that. I started baking more because I went fully vegan at the time. Like I was like, okay, well, if I can't have these things, I'm gonna make them myself. Like gingerbread cookies on Christmas, or things like that. That's where I like really started a lot of it. But yeah, Pop-Tarts have become like one of my favorite things to make. It was a little tedious, but they are like the nice full package when it's fully made. So it's totally worth it. I'm going to be making mochi pretty soon, just regular baked mochi.
Okay. And what's mochi?
Yeah. Mochi is a Japanese Oh my gosh. Please don't quote me. Please don't judge me. I want to say it's just an Asian dessert. It is literally just like this rice flour
Oh, okay.
squishy stuff and
Yeah.
covered in potato starch. And it's literally just like this sugary dough. It's delicious. It's so good. I will
Sugar.
send you some of that. Exactly. It's just sugar. I will
Can't
send
go
you
wrong
some.
there.
I'm
But,
yeah, right. I'm excited for the first baked bunny care package when we can finally,
Yes.
So,
Yes. I love when
baking
people
your
tell me.
own Pop-Tarts is not, I don't think is normal. So what made you make your first Pop-Tart?
I wanted the Pop-Tarts, strawberry Pop-Tarts. I was sitting in my room and I was stoned and I was like, I want Pop-Tarts. I can't eat these things. And so I, like every other
Oh.
girl that loves Pinterest, she just Pinterested the recipe. And I'm like, this is perfect. It was a huge hit with all of my stoner friends. There was this great story. There's a chocolate cake that I also make that's vegan. It's made with like really like overripe avocados. And it's a 2-layer cake. It has its own icing, everything. It's loved. I made it one day for all of my stoner friends, and we sat in the house and we ate the whole cake and watched shows and got stoned or watched movies. I don't even really remember. But I remember making the cake. The next day, I made the same cake again because we all wanted it again. It was one of those. It's a huge hit. So those are the reasons why I bake. It's like you get to love something, and then when you're stoned, you're just everything's a little bit more intensified. Your flavor palette's more intensified. It's great. So yeah.
Are you using the same vegan recipe today that you started with?
For Pop-Tarts and yes.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay. Is that good?
I don't like to really veer from like recipes. That kind of scares me. I mean, I do alter the recipe every once in a while, but for the most part, I stick to the same recipe.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah. Once you got a good one, you stick with that one.
Yeah. You just Pop-Tart. Yeah. It's just funny.
It makes me feel so good when I give it to like non-vegan. Like I stay from dairy completely. So having my vegan items at a place where people who are not vegan try my things and they're like, what is this? I need to have it. So it's like when I did that, I was like, oh, well, maybe, I can make these, but I can also infuse them. They make they're like the best. So it's like the weed is like the cherry on top for me. So nice. I will eat it totally like not infused, but having it infused makes it that much better. Yeah. So
as opposed to getting high and eating a Pop-Tart, getting high while eating a Pop-Tart.
Yes.
Is this better?
Yes.
So now how many milligrams are in a typical Pop-Tart, or do you vary them?
It really depends how I'm feeling at the time. I've made them as high as 25, 50 milligrams a Pop-Tart. And the Pop-Tart is smaller than my phone.
Okay.
So if that makes you, honestly, I could probably get maybe 2, maybe 3 Pop-Tarts out of one phone.
Oh, okay. And
so they're not that large.
Do you toast them?
Oh, my girlfriend makes them warm.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously because everything is, I like to use the freshest ingredients, so I like to keep them in the fridge. They stay longer, but for the most part, we put them in the oven, in the little toaster oven, get them nice and warm with coffee. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
I promise I will make a care package because I'm sure she can hear me and she's probably like, are we making those soon? I love those. Request.
You can make them too.
You want to try and make edibles?
Not me, Leah.
Leah. Yeah, possibly. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, yeah. Does she have any specific ways of infusing? Does she infuse at all?
I don't know enough about cooking to know. I know she makes a lot of sauces and stuff where she's, so I don't, but I don't know. I just stay out of the way and I eat what's there because it's delicious. So.
The best is being the guinea pig. It's like, yes, I'll try that. I'll try that.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
So what is the wildest thing you've seen now out there that they're putting weed into? I've seen like a fruity pebbles kind of thing. I thought was kind of cool. I'd like to try, but I mean, it seems limitless at this point. Like it's going to be in everything. So
Yeah.
It is, especially with the way that they can infuse things now. Like they can make like I think the not the weirdest thing, but probably the most like almost mind-blowing thing to me was I'm obsessed with like edible in drinks. So like an infused lemonade or an infused syrup, things like that. So when I seen one girl's Instagram quite recently, actually, she had this like this, the science tubes, the little vials.
Sure.
Yeah, it had one like that, had a cap, was fully sealed. I believe it came from a dispensary. It was 100 milligrams of a powdered drink flavor, like a powdered drink.
Okay.
So you put the powder inside like like those emergency packets. It was like that, but it was weed. It was 100 milligrams of THC.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
like, that's kind of cool. So
Yeah, and
I literally was sitting there and I was nerding out. I was like, okay, that's probably half sugar. I think I know the process of how to infuse sugar. Can I do that? Because I was like, I want to try my own. Hawaii doesn't get those types of things. Everything is made here. We don't get like those, and those new things that come out, and it's like hard because I want to try them all, but I can't because we don't make them, and having them sent here is a no.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Well, I know
no.
having stuff sent here is a no as well.
Yeah,
So
which still surprises me about Hawaii, but
I'm preaching to the choir.
I know.
But yeah, so it's like, oh God, how can I do that? How can I make it my own?
Yeah.
So that's probably the most like recent.
Well, the last time we had you on a episode of Cocktails with Dimples and the Beard, I had that powder and had it in water or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah. Actually we went back to the dispenser a few weeks ago and I got another one of them. I got a different flavor. I haven't tried it yet, but so
see that stuff. I was like, wait a minute, how is that getting to that evolved for us to like be consuming this product? So
yeah.
I still think it's mind-blowing either way.
It is, and it's funny to me that you know that it just grew through people who really like weed, just going, what can we do with it? Like, let's try this. It's not like, like how they make Oreo, the flavors for Oreo in some lab in China, probably, like, this is just a bunch of people who love weed going, what can we put it into?
What do we do with it?
Exactly. It goes back to the whole pantry of infused products for me. Like, what can we have next? So yeah, I totally get that. It's crazy how we're evolving so quickly now that everybody's like for that industry, everybody's on the same page. So it's like,
when I think edibles have really helped loosen the general public up about weed, which I think is a good thing. I think it will quicken the federal legalness of it and being legal everywhere, because, like we've talked about, you got grandmas and grandpas using, a little bit of THC edibles for joint pain or whatever. And
right. Yeah.
So
I think I noticed the most with that is more of the stuff that people are saying to not allow them to be around. I mean, it's great that everybody's consuming them, but then you have those that have children who get a hold of these products, and then it becomes like a huge negative story. So it's like, it's kind of like a balance right now where I'm like, I want this to happen for everybody. I want it to be out there. I want it to be accessible, but I also want the educating part for like the child safety and the fact that, obviously you don't keep your medicine with the snack in the fridge, like that kind of educating. So
there's still common sense that should be applied. And
we
know how there's always going to be people out there that don't have common sense. So.
I mean, the thing of it is you need to treat it like a gun, put it in a locked safe. Amen. And put it on a high shelf, and because you're right, you can't can't afford
or the medicine you get from the doctor. It's a child block. Same thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, even that, but I mean, as far as that, kids have gotten past those. Adults can't get past those childproof locks, but children have. And I mean, just for me, it's like, okay, that's where I'm like, sit down, let's have a conversation, because you're making it not look good for the rest of us.
Right.
Yeah.
If we have any chance, we need common sense from those of us who use it. So.
We do. But there are so many more people now that I haven't seen for a while, and I come back to, and I'm just, oh, they're talking about how they are doing gummies now, and you just I never thought those people would. Not that it means anything, just all of a sudden, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It just seems so out there.
Yep. Yeah. I remember my uncle asking me when I was working in dispensary in California, he's like, so, do you think gummies would work for me? And I'm like, yes. Like, it's sort of like, totally think that you're straight and narrow and like, super strict. And then you like pop that. I'm like, it's so nice that some people become more open to this when you hear all of the good that it can do for your body, for your mind, just your mental health sometimes. So it's nice to see older generations trying it. And I remember, talking to my parents, they're like, the 5-finger bag and the high sticks, I'm like, I get those stories and I'm like, see, why don't you come back to the light?
Right.
We would have a really great time.
So what do you think the next evolution in the edible game will be? Where does it go from here?
That is a great question.
The answer probably is, where doesn't it go, right? Like,
yeah, there's huge, endless possibilities, and those who, invest in it. Not just the actual dispensaries or the products, but like realizing how much, the equipment costs and, the actual facilities costs that you can invest in. Like, it's a huge investment that it's not going to do the harm that people think it will do. It's going to do so much more better that outweighs any type of possible harm.
Right.
So, it could be, if everybody just wants to jump on the train and be educated about what's being developed now, because science is so much more complex and, it's so evolved, that we should look at this as let's look at it again. I know it's been tested on, I know it's been researched over the years, but let's look at it with a different eye now, just to give it a different, let's think outside the box. And if everybody were to get on that, I feel like it would just be, we could go anywhere. Yeah. We really could go anywhere. Yeah. I've been thinking about the space ice cream I used to eat as a kid, and I'm like, that would be really awesome.
Yeah.
How can we, that's where my brain is at currently, but it could go anywhere. We could just federally legal for everybody to be able to access it in a sense. For can we put it on the same level as alcohol, please? Like,
right.
Right.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah.
So baking cookies and brownies, and with which you use all natural stuff, but with the fake deltas and stuff, how are those able to bake into cookies and stuff? And do you dabble in that at all?
I have not actually tried or really gotten my hands on any of this Delta 8 stuff. That's like the commercial CBD.
Yeah.
I prefer my real CBD because it does have a smidgen of THC in it. Even if I use CBD that way, you can infuse products with it. There are some products out there for dispensaries, products that I have made that are strictly CBD. You can't, there's no THC in it, but it gives you the benefits that CBD does without obviously feeling any type of high at all. Those are a definite yes. You can definitely infuse those. If you buy, they have CBD dominant plants. So like Pennywise, ACDC, Charlotte's Web, those are higher CBD concentrated in the actual plant, so flower. So if you infuse your flower with the CBD flower, you do get the same effects. Most people are using the tinctures or the isolates or the distillate. So it's just another form of concentrated CBD, and they throw it in their products. But yeah, it's a huge market too. I don't like those Delta 8s in the commercial places just because I don't know. I'm very picky about what I consume. I need to know its name. I need to know its plant. I need to know when it was harvested. And I appreciate the dispensary giving me that kind of information. Yeah. It's more of a, but yeah, CBD is
Well, anytime you throw the word synthetic into something, it's good, you know, like that's kind of like the buzzword to be like, we're not going to tell you exactly how we got here. We just got here. So just trust us. And that's a little, I mean, I've certainly had some Delta products that gave me nice highs, but I'm like, you know, again,
but a different kind of high.
A different kind of high. Yeah. Yeah. But,
and it doesn't last as long either.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably not. Yeah. Now that you say that.
I noticed that with, I mean, just regular CBD products for me. Like I have a CBD cartridge pen that I smoke on just if I don't want THC. I've actually had a really bad neck. I'm surprised you can't see it. I have, you know, when you get cupping, you get the big little hickeys on your neck.
Oh yeah.
So I've been using it for sleep to help relax. All of that for me. And I feel like that high only lasts for like maybe 30 minutes for me.
Yeah.
I mean, most other highs, they can last a couple hours. So
yeah.
Even from a cartridge, you know? So yeah, that the intensity isn't there. You have some type of a feeling, but it also doesn't last as long. I'm not a fan.
Okay.
I think for us in Wisconsin, because the Deltas started to become like they're legal here because it's synthetic, it's covered under the Hemp Act or whatever.
Right.
So we can have them here. But again, I mean, it's no substitute. If you can get the real thing, get the real thing. And
I mean, I totally respect if those people who use it cannot handle the usual dosage that we are. So there's that entire spectrum of people. You have people who are like, absolutely not, or I'm growing up to that, or you have those high stoners that it takes them over 100 milligrams of an edible to even feel something, or, you know, 4 dabs to feel something. There's that so many different like spectrums or people on that spectrum of intensity. So Delta 8 gives you that. And I believe it is also, I think they said that you could use that and not be worried about a drug test of some sort. So don't quote me.
Yeah,
but
I'm not certain about. Yeah, I don't know if that's what that would be. That would be nice, but
but yeah,
it'd be nice.
All right. Well, have we talked everything edibles?
What did I forget? I mean, I literally was sitting and making a list of all of the different edibles that I have come across in my small little connoisseur career of cannabis. And I mean, it's a pretty long list. So I mean, you could keep going. You have so many different ones. I mean, you're going to come across a whole different plethora of products. And yeah, I don't do your research. That's the only suggestion that I would say is do your research when it comes to whatever you're putting in your body. So.
And take small bites. Small bites.
Small dosages.
Small and slow and slow. That's what I've been taught. Slow and slow. A lot of people have those freakouts because they eat too much, or they do the whole, I ate 1 hour ago, I don't feel anything, I'm gonna eat 2 more. And then 4 hours later, some people are stuck around a toilet, or you're literally stiff on the couch. So.
Well, I think there's a lot of mine there is just, okay, it will go away.
It will go away.
It may be a while. It may seem like eternity, but it will go away.
Yep. Yeah.
So before we go, let's tell everybody, where can we buy that shirt? Because
it's amazing.
It's
a fantastic shirt. Past joints, not judgments, in case you can't read it.
Thank you. I have a neck. I mean, I have it on my website for sale. It should take you to the process of ordering this. I think I'm wearing a medium. But yeah, it's on my website, ashleyhobbs.net.
Check it out.
.net.
And like I said, in the first one, we're gonna, at the end of these things, just go check out Last Prisoner Project and do what you can to help out there. So
yes, please. Send them all my love too.
we are talking to Stephanie in a week or two. So
yay, that's great.
Yeah.
I also noticed that you got the newest Hemper Trippy box.
We did.
I love it.
I'm not gonna lie. We name dropped We said we're doing a little something with Ashley Hobbs. If you want to be part of it, so
And
Hemper was nice enough to send us this for free, and
That is
we
awesome.
yeah.
I really think she's too pretty. I have not been able to use her yet.
I
just
know.
like staring at her.
Isn't it? I mean, you take it out and it's like it could be art that you see knickknacks around people's house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I actually know a girl who loves mushrooms, and I thought of her, and I was all like, I will use this, but here, go get one and put it up in your room. She was like, I'm buying one now. So it was great. It was really great.
So shout out to Hemper. We definitely appreciate the product. So
yes, we do. Yes,
and it's
we
a heck
do.
of a box. You get a lot of stuff in there. That
You really
box.
do. I love the variety, and it's every every month it's a different box.
Yeah.
So it's like you get a theme. Last month was that Das Boot, and I was like tripping out. So I mean, yeah, I love the variety. I really do. I love their little gadgets. This is a cartridge pen battery.
Oh, okay.
I call it my old man pipe.
It does look like a pipe, like a corncob pipe almost.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's adorable. I think it's so cute, and it's it's small enough so I can store it places, but it's really so. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Hemper.
Well, thank you, Ashley. We look forward to episode 3.
And thank you, Ashley.
Oh, thank you so much. It was great to see you guys. I'll see you
as
soon.
well. Have a good night.
Oh, before we go, your hair looks so cute tonight.
Oh, thanks. I literally I put it in the bun every other day. And when it comes down, it doesn't stop. It's like ringlets.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's out there. Yeah. I mean, there's more of it than other times. So it's very cute.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I know. I don't like wearing it down. This is all. And then you're stoned and it feels like there's like things around your face. Yeah, no. This is going up real quick.
Beach life.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.